Hi, it's John. Welcome to the channel. Enjoying a cup of coffee on Monday morning, December 2nd. It is just after 5 o'clock. Interesting dump yesterday from the White House. Hunter Biden has been pardoned by his old man on gun charges and also tax evasion charges. But, this really isn't about Hunter, is it? Because this also covers any investigations of Hunter back to 2014. Probably around the time Joe started getting money from his son that was funneled through Ukraine and China. He was the big guy after all. The 10% going to the big guy is the big part of this story. And if you're not aware of this, you're probably a leftist, but this was all revealed in the Hunter Biden laptop story that was suppressed prior to the last election. Also interesting about this is the fact that Biden himself said, talking about Joe here, that no one's above the law, but obviously when it comes to his son and to Joe himself, they are above the law. Even some leftists are pissed off about this one. Where is Justin Trudeau? Pierre Poilievre out on the weekend making another issue a big issue here in Canada. Although Donald Trump has a little bit to do with this one. I've mentioned a number of times here on this channel that Poilievre is the one making an issue of the car theft situation in Canada, also the housing issue here in Canada, and now he's making a real big issue of the border issue. Now, Trump kind of turned up the heat on Trudeau and his government when he said he'd put a 25% tariff on Canada if we don't do something about the border. Now, Poilievre is out there talking about this a lot. He wants the border shut down. We need to have a plan because it won't be very long before the new government in the United States is in and that 25% tariff is looming. But so far, not a hell of a lot from Justin Trudeau other than going down to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Trump about the Canada-U.S. situation. You might want to read an article this morning, kind of a harbinger of things to come. They talked to a guy who has been working with the Canada Border Services Agency for a long time. The article in the National Post is called, "God Help Us If This All Starts Happening in January. A Trump-Induced Border Crisis is Coming." Now, that title of that story is wrong. This is not a Trump-induced border crisis. This is a border crisis caused by Justin Trudeau. He's been allowing people to cross the border for years now. He's done absolutely nothing about it, and he won't take any blame for this. He blames it all on bad actors, as he said a few weeks ago in an interview. Also, did you know there's a postal strike going on? Most people don't. And a plastics treaty has failed. Apparently they're meeting in South Korea, I believe, to come up with a treaty on how to get rid of plastics and maybe come to an agreement on banning or at least having more regulations on making plastics, which will drive the prices of everything up. Now, I've got lots to say when it comes to plastics. First off, the West, meaning North America and whatnot, we're not really responsible for a lot of plastic pollution. The two places that are, Africa and Asia, there's lots of videos online of trucks pulling up at rivers, dumping tons and tons of garbage into the rivers, which end up in the sea, which end up becoming plastic pollution. So it's not the West problem. As far as plastic goes, I think recycling is an absolute freaking joke. I put recycling out every week, but I don't see it as recycling. I don't care if we recycle it. I just see it as another way to get more of my junk out of my house. Just another garbage day as far as I'm concerned. We either should bury the stuff, and if we need plastic in the future, we know where it is. It's in the ground. We can dig it up. We don't have to mine all over the world and pull all sorts of resources out of the ground to get plastic to make it. It's right there in the dumps. We know where it is, or we should be burning it for energy. They do this over in Europe. Other places have these furnaces, plasma furnaces that burn their garbage and they can make energy out of it, and perhaps we can lower our energy prices. So this is what I think about plastics. Now, Stephen Guilbeault, our environment minister, he's all into plastic bans and more regulations on plastics. He tried to do a plastic freeze here in Canada, can't do it through the Supreme Court, but this pisses me off to no end. I'm glad the plastic treaty has failed, but he says they're going to be back at it again just around the time of the G7 next year, probably while the Liberals are still in. They'll get this thing passed, and we'll see the prices of everything go up because everything you own has got plastic in it. Your phone, your tablets, the camera I'm using right now, everything needs plastics. Thanks for watching.